Hey, what's up, studs? Ryan here, or MandRproductions, with my worst to first LEGO Star Wars 2017 sets video. Of course, I've done some of the other years, and at some point in the future, depending on when you're watching this, we'll have done every year of LEGO Star Wars in worst to first form. So I'll have a playlist linked down below with those other worst to first videos, so definitely check that out if you enjoyed this. Speaking of enjoying this, if you do so, please leave a like on the video, and let's go ahead and get started with what I think was the worst set of 2017. And mind you, 2017 was the year that The Last Jedi came out, so we got that first wave of Last Jedi sets, but included in there were some buildable figures, and I think we got to start out with them as the very worst of the worst. Baze Malbus. No. Thank you. Just really bad LEGO. The buildable figures, I've said this a lot, they're not my favorite, and it'll show in these videos. Rey up next, giant forehead, Peyton Manning forehead, Rey. I don't know who. I can sit here all day and tell you how bad I think these are. We'll just try to get through them rather quickly. Chirrut Imwe, hopefully I got his name right there. I mean, possibly the coolest part about him is actually his bowcaster. That's actually really well done in my opinion with that spring-loaded shooter. Speaking of bowcasters, we have Chewbacca with a much sleeker one, but the Chewbacca, I don't know, that face, I'm just not vibing with that face. That is like a creepy face, I'll tell you. That's not cool. Next up, we have the Stormtroopers, like the commander, though, because he's got the orange pauldron. Actually, a pretty nice one. The buildable figures that have helmets and stuff that don't actually have faces and are trying to replicate humans actually look decent. So this one, I would say, looks decent. Shore Trooper up next actually looks decent. The Praetorian Guard looks decent. Actually, Praetorian Guard's pretty good. Okay, I'll give it that. We have a First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot buildable figure, and that was a mouthful. So those are all the buildable figures. I don't like them. Moving on, mailing it in. Let's talk about mailing it in, like me doing this video. LEGO mailed it in on the advent calendar in 2017. There are a couple of highlights. I like the First Order Troop Transporter. I like Director Krennic's shuttle. Rey's speeder isn't too bad. The Y-Wing is pretty standard. I guess the Santa Hat BB-8 is kind of cute, but where's the Santa minifigure? For so many years, we had been getting Santa minifigures and advent calendars, and this one's just a giant letdown in my opinion. So this advent calendar, without including any type of exclusive cool minifigure, just really doesn't sell it to me. So bad advent calendar. Moving on, slightly better than a bad advent calendar, the Rathtar Escape. This set I thought would be decent when I first saw the pictures, and I got it in hand. It was 80 bucks, and I didn't enjoy it at all. This thing just doesn't stay together. Maybe my entire point of view on this set is completely wrong because I built it wrong, but this thing just falls apart consistently. The Rathars, I mean, it's tough to make something like that in LEGO, and it just never translates well, so you get that, whatever. Han Solo, a couple Guavian Death Gang guys, Chewbacca, and Bala Tick aren't too bad, I guess, as far as the minifigures go, but this set just wasn't great to me, and I'm pretty sure I saw it on clearance quite a bit. Just wasn't that popular of a set, I think, but I'm sure there'll be people in the comments telling me, oh, this is my favorite, but, you know, what can you do? This one just, for me, didn't have it. Next up, the Arrowhead from the Freemaker Adventures. I am also not a big fan of Freemaker Adventures sets. I never really watched the show, so I never really got into it. It included a Stormtrooper, which was nice. I think Rowan is in there. I'm not familiar with any of the other characters. Got the Battle Droid. Clanker might have been his name, but like I said, I never watched the show, never got into it. This Arrowhead thing doesn't really vibe with me. It's an interesting, unique design, I guess, that LEGO put out there, but not one that I really am attached to. A set that is surprisingly high on the list here with a buildable figure. This one actually combines two things that LEGO could have done more with buildable figures that I think would have sold them more for people, and they were going to do more, but they ended up canceling them, actually. They're going to do a File First Trooper with AT-RT. Never happened. But this is the Scout Trooper with speeder bike, buildable figure with buildable figure giant thing with it. I don't know there's not like a term for it, but the Scout Trooper on its own looks great. Would have been a great like $20, $25 buildable figure. People would have actually liked that. But on top of that, they actually include something for him to ride on, and that's his speeder bike there. So I think LEGO actually kind of hit the nail on the head here with this particular buildable figure set. Unfortunately, again, this was the only one of its kind, and the rest were canceled. Next up, also from the Freemaker Adventures, is the Tracker 1, and this isn't a set that I think is terrible. It kind of reminds designs, you have like a TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor. It's kind of a mix of a bunch of different TIE Fighters and TIE designs. TIE Defender is one that comes to mind as well. I think the biggest selling point of this set to me was Emperor Palpatine. Just getting Emperor Palpatine in a set that's not like regular Star Wars, I think was pretty neat. And to me, that's really the main reason the set isn't a little bit lower on this list, is that it has Palpatine. It's kind of like the highlight of the set to me. But the set itself actually has kind of two compartments. It's got the cockpit, and then it's got another space underneath there, so actually has some pretty neat stuff in there. I can't say it's a terrible set. It's kind of getting to the middle of the pack here with the worst of first 2017 sets. More into the middle of the pack definitely here is the Quad Jumper. I don't think it's necessarily a bad set. It's just one that didn't get a lot of screen time. We didn't see it much. Not many people really cared about it. Looks like a pretty dull design in my opinion, just from like the Star Wars standpoint. I think the Lego design is fine, right? But Rey, Finn, a Stormtrooper, some random guy. I mean, I don't know what you really wanted out of this set, but it probably didn't have it for you. The set did have one really great feature, though, and that was that you could basically make it explode like it does in the movie, so it definitely gets some credit for that. Next up, the Resistance Transport Pod with Finn, Rose, and BB-8. And actually, this set was a bit of a surprise to me. I remember building this for the first time and actually enjoying it a little bit more than I thought I would, even though there's a ton of stickers on the set, which a lot of people are going to be turned off by. There's actually like this back area to the set, which is just, it seems like there's not enough space for it there, but it's there, and it's actually very cool to have that extra bit of space. So you can actually fit all your figures in the set with quite a bit of extra space. So that set actually turned out to be a little bit better than I was expecting, but still one of the more hated Episode 8 sets and sets from 2017 in general by many LEGO Star Wars fans. Moving on, we have the First Order Crab Walker. We'll just call it the Crab Walker because that's what it is. It's actually a heavy artillery walker, I believe, but it was a set that didn't see an appearance in the movie The Last Jedi, which I think turned a lot of people off to the set immediately. And the vibe I get when things don't show up in a Star Wars movie and they're actually LEGO sets is that people automatically don't like them, which is kind of a bummer. I think this set got a bad rap for not being in the movie, but it's actually not a bad set in my opinion. Like, it's kind of an interesting take on what is essentially an ATST. You have the head of the walker there where you can put some minifigures in, and then you of course have the legs, which in this case you have like 8 legs that all kind of move on their own. There's wheels at the bottom though that help facilitate that, and gears and mechanisms inside, whatever. But it's actually a really neat model, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's got Hux, it's got a Flame Trooper, it got a Resistance Trooper, which I don't even know why you bother including. Like, what's the point? You're just gonna crush it. And you have like another First Order crew member there. So actually a surprisingly good set in my opinion, that again got a bad rap because it wasn't shown in the movie. The Republic Fighter Tank with Aayla Secura and the Phase 2 Clone Gunner was actually a pretty anticipated set. Also got a couple battle droids in there. My biggest gripe with this set is that it's considerably smaller than the original version of this vehicle from LEGO Star Wars. I know it's more accurate to the universe, but I like the bigger one. What can I say? I'm a sucker for size.
That's what she said.
The TIE Striker Microfighter is up next. It's, you know, I don't know. It's a Microfighter, man. I don't have much to say about that one. The Bounty Hunters Battle Pack from 2017 is one that is confusing to me. It's a good LEGO set, right? But they called it a battle pack, and it's a terrible battle pack. You can't have 4 named characters in a battle pack. It's no longer a build your army set. Why not make a $20 set instead of a $15 set and put all these characters in there and do a different build that isn't a speeder? That's my one gripe with something like this. Like, I don't know why, man. Why is this a battle pack? Because this is not a battle pack. I think I would have ranked this higher if they had made even like a $30 set with all these bounty hunters and like some cool piece of scenery or a cooler vehicle. Like, I think it would have been the way to go instead of calling it a battle pack, because it's straight up not a battle pack. Next up on the list, Director Krennic's Shuttle, and this one would have been substantially higher on the list if it had included Director Krennic, and I think I'll leave it at that. Next up, the Battle of Scarif here. Pretty good set, actually. I actually like this set quite a bit. Has a very different type of build than a lot of other LEGO Star Wars sets. You get a couple of those really cool shore troopers, Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso in her disguise there. And another cool thing about this set is that orange box there actually went along with the Imperial hover tank that came out the year prior, so you could actually use that on that set, which was really neat. So you could kind of combine the two. So Battle on Scarif, pretty neat set. You could also make it like essentially blow up, which I like. While this one was overpriced, I think the 2017 A-Wing was probably the best A-Wing. I don't know, I really really like this design of the A-Wing. Looks really sleek with that dark red and white, really contrast. Of course, the Lando minifigure was probably the reason LEGO thought they could get away with $40 on this set, and I don't blame them. That Lando minifigure is really nice. Probably drew quite a few people in, so very nice set here on the list, but slightly better from the year, only $25, is going to be Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. It's the only time we've ever seen Yoda's Jedi Starfighter in LEGO, and this is from the Clone Wars. You're getting an R2-D2 minifigure along with Yoda there. R2-D2, of course, fits in the back of the Starfighter there, and Yoda right into the cockpit. Pretty neat little set. I'm sure a lot of people really like that one. Next up, the U-Wing Microfighter. Very nice Microfighter from 2017. Much better than Director Krennic's, because Director Krennic's and the TIE Striker, I think. This is just a nice Microfighter, really appealing. I think they got the proportions right, in my opinion. And of course, the pilot in this set is amazing. I love that helmet mold. That's one of my favorite LEGO helmet molds ever. That is just amazing. Like, it just looks so clean. Next up, the Resistance Battle Pack from the year. This is a battle pack. You got a bunch of no-name characters. You got actually good builds, kind of reminiscent of the Mandalorian Battle Pack type of builds. All the characters have leg printing. Like, it's actually a really nice, well fleshed out battle pack, and you could probably do some mix and matching with some characters, although I'm not particularly into that. Next up, the Y-Wing Microfighter. This Microfighter is one of my favorite Microfighters ever. You get a really nice pilot, and you get the really clean Y-Wing. No complaints there. Next up, Luke's Landspeeder, only $20 in 2017. Very nice set for 2017, in my opinion. It was a Walmart exclusive, actually, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, C-3PO, very nice prints on C-3PO, and a Tusken Raider. So getting all four of these figures in such a cheap set was really nice. And this is kind of what I'm talking about with the Bounty Hunter Battle Pack. They should have done something like this, made a $20 set, did a slightly different build, and called it good. Like, it didn't have to be a battle pack. That's my point. Next up, the Desert Skiff, a $30 set from the year that included a very nice Sarlacc pit build, a very strong Sarlacc pit build. Like, those pieces weren't falling off like some of the older Sarlacc pit builds. We also got a very clean Desert Skiff. I think this is the best design to date. I really think they cleaned it up with this one. It looks really nice. They have all the colors down, in my opinion. And of course, the inverted tiles on the clear stilts underneath the skiff go really nicely. Next up, the Phantom 2. This is an improved design upon the original Phantom, in my opinion. It's very reminiscent of a Separatist shuttle. I'm sure that's exactly what it's based off of. It actually has really neat colors on it as well with the stickers and stuff. I actually think that is one of the coolest parts of the set, which is kind of rare. You don't hear that often from me, probably, saying the stickers are a nice part of a set, but in my opinion, they actually work well on this set, and they actually add a lot to it. You get Kanan and Jarrus, you get Chopper, and of course, the big minifig for this set was Thrawn. No question. This was a huge one. The only set he's ever been in. So that's a big reason that I really like this set. Even though I don't have a huge connection to him, I still think it's a great character. The AT-M6 eclipses the Phantom 2, in my opinion. I think this is a great kind of upgraded AT-AT, essentially. It's a Gorilla Walker, is like the other name for it, and it's massive. It looks really dope with dark gray. AT-ATs look great in dark gray. Turns out, I really like the other light gray Lego ones, but it looks pretty damn cool in dark gray too. You have the 6 stud shooter on top, which I think works really well as kind of an interesting built-in cannon design. So I like this set. Maybe my one gripe with it would be that it didn't include enough minifigs for $150. Like, why not include like 2 more First Order Stormtroopers? Like, there should be more ground troops to go along with this, in my opinion. Same story here with the First Order Star Destroyer. I think it should have included more troopers. Yeah, Snoke, which was nice, but like, other than that, there were no draw-in characters to get you in the door on this set. Like, 5 minifigs, like, it feels like LEGO was really cheaping out on you there. But still a very nice looking build, like really clean build, sturdy build, had a handle built into it. You had the stud shooters all over this thing, ready to fire at any resistance ships that may pass by. And of course, a fully fleshed out interior to boot. Very, very nice build. Really like this set. Surprisingly ahead of that, though, I have the Duel on Naboo. I think this is one of the best lightsaber duel sets LEGO's ever put out. And, you know, there's definitely been some that are probably a little bit better than this one. But it has a really interesting feature where you can drop characters into like the pit of it and then pop them right on out with like by pushing on this lever, essentially. So that's pretty cool. You also have the gate to keep Obi-Wan out while Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon. Spoiler alert, sorry. It might be a bit small for some people's taste, but I think it's still a very interesting build, and it's one that I really enjoy for the minifigures as well. At a $25 price point back in 2017, it couldn't be beat. Next up, the Resistance Bomber. This is one of my favorite vehicles from the new trilogy of Star Wars, and of course, therefore, that's going to translate into to the LEGO rankings here. The Resistance Bomber, really clean with the light gray and blue color scheme there. Getting so many Resistance pilots is pretty great too, because you get those Resistance pilot helmets, which I really like. The bombing mechanism on this is really nice as well. And you, of course, have the gunners in the backside of the Resistance Bomber that can, you have those things that can spin around and stuff. And of course, it was a very interesting set for the fact that at some point during its production, they actually changed one of the minifigures in the set to be Finch Dallow, and actually have one of those sets sealed in the box just for the collector purpose of having that. So that was kind of a neat factoid about that set. Next up, Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter with Hyperdrive ring. This set was a Toys R Us exclusive in 2017, and honestly, probably a little overpriced at $100, but that to me, even looking back on it now, just doesn't take away from the fact that to me, the set looks beautiful. It really does. The Obi-Wan Starfighter was a beautiful upgrade from the 2002 version of itself. Like, it definitely came a long way. And of course, the Hyperdrive ring. LEGO did a Hyperdrive ring in 2007, and this one just blew that one out of the water. It was so much more sturdy here. It had such a nice feature with the mechanism that you basically held and pushed like a trigger on a blaster, I guess we'll use that word. And that would allow you to remove the Obi-Wan's Starfighter from the Hyperdrive ring. So very, very nice set for play and display, in my opinion. Maybe one of the biggest downsides of the set. And it's a weird thing to say is the downside, but the fact that it includes Jango Fett and young Boba Fett meant that we weren't going to get a Jango Fett Slave 1 at the same time. It would have been great to have both sets side by side at the same time on the shelf, and LEGO just didn't go through with that. They ended up including all 4 figures in this set, which was fine, I guess, right? People paying $100 wanted to get good value. They got good value with that, but I definitely would have liked a separate set for Jango and young Boba there. Next up, the Darth Vader transformation. This set was an upgraded version of a 2005 set, which looks horrendous by comparison, and this one is so good. I mean, they've got all the little details in here. You can take off and remove Darth Vader's helmet pretty easily. You got the 2-part Darth Vader helmet at this point in 2017. They had redesigned it, so that was kind of nice. You got Sidious, obviously, there, looking very menacing with his gold lightsaber hilt, and of course, the burnt-up, charred-up Anakin/Darth Vader, so you got 3 figures in the set, plus a little medical droid, which is kind of brick-built, so don't really count that as a minifigure, but beautiful set for $25. Absolutely gorgeous. I think they did an awesome job with this little play set, and it's also really nice for display. Works both ways. There's just 7 sets left, so the 7th best set of the year, in my opinion, was the Y-Wing, a $60 set in 2017. Had a great pilot minifigure, great astromech droid minifigure, very unique. Stormtrooper was nice inclusion on the side, I guess, although kind of pointless, right? And we had Admiral Raddus, and then also White Chewbacca, whose name isn't really important, so I didn't feel like looking it up for this. Also, you only see him in the film Rogue One for maybe like 5 seconds, so who cares what his name is at this point, right? But the Y-Wing is what the point of this is here, and the Y-Wing is amazing. I don't know if it's the best Y-Wing ever from its scale of Y-Wings, but it's damn good in my opinion, and it's 7th best in 2017. Slightly better than this Y-Wing, though, for me, was the First Order Speeder Battle Pack here. This was a tried and true battle pack. I mean, it had an officer figure, which most people don't really love, myself included, but you got the TR-8R figure, really, with the First Order Stormtrooper there, and you got another regular First Order Stormtrooper who you could also get the shield, little baton thing, too, and then you, of course, got a Flame Trooper, who I didn't think would ever come in a battle pack, but sure enough, we got a Flame Trooper in a battle pack, and he looks awesome. I have a ton of these, and I can't complain one bit about this set. I think it's amazing. The speeder is even kind of interesting and unique design, so I think LEGO did a great job with this battle pack, putting together a very well-rounded battle pack for 2017, although that's not the best battle pack of 2017. Oh no, there is another. BB-8, number 5, BB-8, baby. But this is probably some people's favorite LEGO Star Wars set ever. It's got one of the funniest features, I think, where you can actually have him do the little thumbs up thing that he did in The Force Awakens, so I thought that was really neat. Of course, he's got a little display stand with a little plaque with info about BB-8, which is really neat. I'm also noticing that on LEGO's official picture, they didn't put the piece all the way together on the plaque on the right there. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? What a spot. Anyway, BB-8 is amazing. I think LEGO did an amazing job putting together an amazing buildable character here with some great features. His head can turn and swivel and do a ton of things. And you, of course, get the little BB-8 minifigure, all for $100. I thought that was an excellent deal. And the 4th best set of the year to me is going to be the Imperial Battle Pack based off Rogue One. You got a couple of very nice Stormtroopers there. This is before they did the redesign on the Stormtroopers. Still 2017, obviously. And then, to me, some of my favorite LEGO Star Wars minifigures ever, Death Troopers. And they were in a battle pack, and I only bought like 10 of these. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have bought like 50, but Death Troopers are amazing, and they really made this set for me. Next up, Kylo Ren's TIE Interceptor is amazing. You get Kylo Ren, you get BB-9E, you get a First Order Stormtrooper, and you get the First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot. I love this vehicle so much. I love all of, like, Kylo Ren's vehicles. This one especially because it's got that black and red color scheme. That is one of my favorite color schemes for LEGO Star Wars, so whenever I see that, I'm probably instantly going to like the set, and LEGO has it on this, and I can't say I don't like it. It's a really sleek, elongated TIE Interceptor, basically, and all blacked out. Like, you can't go wrong with that, in my opinion. At number 2, I have chosen the UCS Snowspeeder. I think this was a no-brainer. I almost put this, like, 5th, and I was just like, dude, this set is too good. It's like a perfect Snowspeeder. I don't know how anyone could say anything bad about this. I can't, maybe, okay, I can say one bad thing about it. I take that back. There are little pieces on the bottom of this that I constantly knock off. Other than that, perfect set, okay? Other than that, perfect set. It's got a great interior, just perfectly detailed. I don't know how anyone could complain about that. You've got the little harpoon gunner thing on the backside. The little flaps can also open up, and you can reveal some engine detail kind of inside there. There's some nice stickers on this set, I guess. And of course, you have the plaque, which is going to have the details about the Snowspeeder, and of course, a couple minifigs to go with it. So it was one of those $200 UCS sets, so I think that was perfect for 2017. And finally, the best set of 2017, in my opinion. I think this was a no-brainer coming into it from the beginning, but the UCS Millennium Falcon. This thing was massive. It still is massive, of course. Why would it be any different in size now? But this Millennium Falcon still is, to date, at least as of recording this video, the biggest and most expensive LEGO set and LEGO Star Wars set ever. They put so much work into this. There's so much detail. Of course, it is a remake of the 2007 UCS Falcon, and it blows that out of the water. Like, it's so much better than even the previous version of itself. You also have some nice little interior rooms, which I thought was a nice touch. Obviously, it would have been hard for them to put a fully fleshed out, like completely detailed, one-to-one scale interior. Never expected that, but they did include a couple of rooms, which was nice. The cockpit is great. They made a new cockpit piece bigger than the previous version just for it. Perhaps some people thought the figure selection in this set was lacking, and I can't say I particularly disagree. The Han Solo and Leia at the time were brand new designs, exclusive, and they still look great today, but what some people had theorized would be nice for a set this expensive would be every minifigure ever to have set foot in the Falcon to that point in the films, and that would have been pretty neat. It wouldn't have been too many characters. I think it would have been like 20 at most. You know, just it wouldn't have been insane for them to have put, you know, that amount of minifigures in a set this expensive. Something that people wished for at the time, but unfortunately didn't come to fruition. Another bright spot of this set is actually that it's kind of a 2-in-1. You can make this into the Force Awakens version of the Millennium Falcon by changing out the radar dish and a couple pieces on the front side of it. This is basically the holy grail for LEGO Star Wars fans at this point. It's the biggest. It's what many people consider to be the best of LEGO Star Wars. It's definitely one of the best of all time for a lot of people. So that is my worst to first video of every 2017 LEGO Star Wars set. If you guys agree or disagree, you can leave me a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, and I'll put a playlist here on the end screen right now so you can check out some other LEGO videos that I make.